guys, today's video is going to be talking about a somewhat controversial topic that literally I got tons of weird comments on my TikTok, a lot of people disagreeing with the way I suppose I presented the information, but essentially the message was correct. I've done a video similar to this already, but I thought I'd kind of touch on the topic again of self-concept in relation to your other manifestations. What impact and positive effect does self-concept actually have on your desires? And yes, I am speaking from experience and knowledge and insight from other people and coaches and teachings in general, just things I've learned, and that, you know, obviously my personal perspective and opinion. So I'm not saying it's the objective one truth that you have to do it this way and have to agree with me. But for some reason on TikTok, it just brings out the crazy. A lot of people were saying, actually quite a few people ended up responding when I replied to them and explained myself. They're like, oh my gosh, that actually makes so much sense. So ultimately, I suppose they did agree with me in what I was saying. And my point was never to say self-concept is not worth doing, it's not going to have a positive impact. I was just saying that if your desire is, you know, to be with your SP or a specific goal, you don't need self-concept work to manifest that goal. It's just your assumptions about that desire. So I'm going to develop on that today, talk to you guys a little bit more about why self-concept, especially when it comes to your SP, and your desires in general. I'm going to use probably the example of SP more so than any other, but you don't need self-concept to manifest those desires. That is not the, you know, result and magical answer to getting your desire or your SP. So we're going to get into that in just a second. Please do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the notification bell to stay tuned, and, you know, join the community, join my subscribers. Thank you so much. It's growing really quickly again. Yeah, thank you so much. I think we'll be at 3,000 within a month. I'm going to manifest that. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoy. If you'd like one-on-one coaching, it is something I offer. I offer coaching services which are listed on my Instagram in the description box, LOA Coaching. And yeah, I do offer one-on-one help if you're interested. And let's just get started. So as I was kind of ranting at the beginning there, you need to change your desires you need to change your assumptions about your desires. So it's, you know, it's great if you work on your self-concept and you feel powerful, confident, beautiful, like you're extremely desirable and of high value. You know, everyone should feel that way, man or woman, you know, doesn't matter if you're a woman, you know, in a relationship with a man, which I tend to see women tend to feel more insecure and get into that doubting state and allow the relationship to spiral downwards. That's the pattern I've seen, and in general that's like the stereotype, isn't it? That a woman would feel insecure or yeah, whatever, you know, question that they're not good enough. Typically that's how it goes, but obviously for man or woman you should feel amazing about yourself. So yes, self-concept is always great. If you have the time and you're able to dedicate some time to self-concept every single day, there's absolutely no harm in that. It will always boost all your other desires and manifestations. But when it comes to just the literal act of manifesting your desire, it's not essential. It's not something you have to do. So what you need to do to kind of sum it all up really quickly and easily is essentially change your assumptions and beliefs about that desire. You need to assume that your SP loves you and wants you and only you, is committing to you right now, that you are getting the job immediately. Your boss is contacting you tomorrow morning first thing and telling you you got that position because it's yours. You need to change your assumptions. You can tell yourself a million times a day, I am so loved and wanted, I'm always desired, I'm always chosen, I'm everyone's top priority. But that's not going to make your SP text you every day. It's not going to make them ask you out on a date. You know, they might prioritize you and reflect that back to you very quickly and effectively in your 3D, but it does not guarantee that you get the commitment or relationship. You need to literally kind of aim and word your affirmations and focus it on them. On your SP, you need to say, SP feels this, SP does this. That is the only way to guarantee, you know, direct focus in your subconscious mind on your SP. Yes, you might think everyone prioritizes me and start to change your assumptions about SP as well, but it's not directly targeting them. So you might start to think, oh, do you know what, actually SP prioritized me a couple of times in the past, and you might start to remember these positive moments, or you might notice that they text you back a lot quicker. But guess what? there'll be other desires that you have, like them falling in love with you. Affirming that you're always prioritized and wanted does not mean your SP is in love with you. You have to literally say that if that's what you want, and that has to be your primary focus, because you can spend hours and hours on self-concept, but it's not changing the assumptions you've held for months or years about your SP. But to give you guys an example, if you affirm for self-concept but not for your desire, guess what? You don't get your desire. There is a possibility that your self-concept will, you know, especially if you're affirming for your power, such as manifesting extremely quickly, being a master at manifestation, everybody conforming in seconds to your desires. That will boost any desire. It will help. It will most probably create really positive movement for you, but it's not going to be it's definitely not some magical answer that's suddenly going to conform all the people in your life or get all your desires manifested. You still need to go into your conscious mind and start looping your new story of how you actually want things to be, so that the assumptions in your subconscious can change as well. If you affirm for self-concept but not your desire, you don't get the desire necessarily. That's not the way it works. You're not guaranteed it. Like I said, it's possible. I'm not saying anything is impossible, but it's less likely with only self-concept work. Whereas if you affirm for your desire, but do no extra work on your self-concept at all, you only affirm for your desires, you get the desires. Now, I'm not saying that your relationship with your SP will be healthy and forever perfect, because if you still have a belief that you get rejected, you're going to have to persist in your SP affirmations for a lot longer, and you're going to have to put in the self-concept work to balance out your relationship and feel good in yourself, because it will reflect in your relationship with SP. But you will get what you want with your SP. So another example, just to really clarify this for you guys, if you have that belief, like I said, that you always get rejected, that you end up just, facing rejection and disappointment in your relationships, and you haven't worked on that in your self-concept, but you're affirming that, SP is texting me all day long and is so obsessed with me, and you start manifesting that, because obviously if you're looping it and persisting, you'll manifest it. So your SP starts texting you every day, starts showing signs of being absolutely obsessed with you, adoring you, wanting you, constantly trying to talk to you and see you, then you're still going to manifest it. You're still going to get what you want. It's just not a guarantee for longevity or a healthy relationship. Because like I said, that self-concept belief does have an impact. You do need to work on it, but it will never stop you from manifesting your desire with your SP if you persist in that new assumption. If you change your belief that, no, he used to never text me, she never texted me, she ghosted me for years, let's say, and then you start affirming and persisting in them texting you all day long, you are going to get that. It doesn't matter how poor your self-concept is, you just changed your assumptions about your SP. You will manifest it eventually. So, depending on your resistance and how long you affirm every day and all that stuff, it depends on that. There is no exact time frame, but you will manifest it, even with a poor self-concept. I've manifested so many things with specific people. Even years ago, when I had a poor self-concept, I had a lot of issues to deal with mentally and emotionally, and I had not processed or kind of resolved them fully, I was still getting the exact thing I wanted with my SPs. Like, I was getting the exact experiences with specific people, and it's just proof that you don't need self-concept. I'm not saying ignore it or neglect it or stay in your insecurities. Never, I would never say that. But all I'm saying is to simplify it. If you want something, you can just affirm for it without self-concept work. So now a few points of when to prioritize self-concept and examples of why I recommend. So I recommend it always to my clients, because when I start with a client, I think it's important to at least mention that and include that. But if a client is coming to me with, they're already at a balanced state, there's no indication of a self-concept issue necessarily, I don't prioritize it. But I'll go on to why I recommend it when you're first starting. And when I first start coaching with someone, I always mention it because it is important, but not essential. And I don't want to, when it comes to clients, I don't want to not recommend self-concept work, because sometimes I can recognize a link where perhaps, they feel they might have been rejected in the past, or they're insecure because of something. I'll just recommend it anyway, because it will never harm you This is for people who really want a desire quickly and just care about that and are in a balanced self-concept state. That is the time where you can, and the moment where you can kind of put self-concept to the side. So like I said, as I recommend to clients, if you're starting from scratch, if you're starting your manifesting journey from the beginning, if you're starting affirmations from the beginning, add in your self-concept. Balance it out with your self-concept. This is what I did at first. Literally the first affirmations I ever did were self-concept, and they reflected instantly, like so quickly and in a crazy way. So I do recommend self-concept when you're first starting. You know, if you're starting for SP or a job or a completely brand new topic or life change, try and combine it with self-concept because it will help. And especially if you're coming from a really low self-concept. If you have a lot of insecurities or mental or emotional issues that are unresolved, or, you know, anxiety or self-image issues, self-worth issues where you don't feel worthy, you don't feel lovable, that sort of thing, absolutely work on your self-concept. It will only benefit your desire and benefit you as a person. If you're starting from the beginning or starting with a very poor self-concept, which sometimes does happen, you know, with clients, I might notice that. In those moments especially, I do recommend prioritizing self-concept. However, a lot of the time I do personally believe it's the assumptions you hold about your SP that are the issue. Sometimes it is really, you know, your own self-concept, certain belief or issue that has repeated in the past and it's holding you back. But for the most part, I would say people's assumptions about their SP are the real issue. You know, that is usually what is holding that relationship in the old state. So yeah, only prioritize it if you're coming from those two experiences. If you have a really negative old story with your SP, then you should focus on your desire. So this is an example of when you don't really need to prioritize self-concept. Self-concept is not going to hasten your manifestation coming into the 3D or, you know, just create faster, better results. If you're coming from a really bad old story and a lot of negative experiences with your SP, that is where you really should be putting the main focus on your desire. And it will help your self-concept in the process a little bit, because you will maybe start to forget those moments that made you feel insecure. You might forget arguments you had with your SP where they insulted you or made you feel, they put you down a little bit or said something that hurt your feelings. And that in turn will help your self-concept, because if you stop remembering or playing over and over in your mind these negative experiences, then it's going to, you know, it's not going to feed into any negative self-concept belief you already have, if that makes sense. As well, another point that ties into this is if you have a lot of resistance. This ties in because you have negative assumptions, so they kind of go hand in hand. But if you find that you have a lot of resistance and your mind keeps bringing up old story issues, negative thoughts, doubts, questions of, well, what if they don't text you? What if he or she doesn't do this? What if this doesn't happen? If you find that you have a lot of that, which is resistance, then you need to focus on the desire. So when it comes to your self-image, as I said, I do see self-concept as a very positive form of manifestation and affirmation focus to have. So if you're coming from very poor self-image and self-worth, like I said, that is a great time to implement and balance out any other affirmations with your self-concept work. It will help your mental diet. It will impact in some way positively your other manifestations. You will most probably find it easier to do a mental diet because you'll feel better in yourself. You'll feel more confident. You will, just have fewer doubtful or negative thoughts. That's just naturally, logically how it goes. If you feel confident and happy in who you are and you feel more secure, you're going to have fewer doubts about life in general. You're going to be like, I can do it. This person will change because I can master manifestation. Like, you'll just feel better overall. So yes, self-concept will always help, but it's not the magical answer, like I said. So if you have poor self-worth or self-image, any issues relating to that, that is another time to really balance out self-concept affirmation. So just to tie this all up, if you do have really specific goals and specific desires for things you want with your SP, the steps you personally think, if you've been in no contact, you want the contact, the relationship, the honest communication from them, you know, the commitment, you want all of that. And those are very specific goals and images of what you want in your mind, right? That is where you want to prioritize your focus on that specific desire. I do recommend doing self-concept every day if you have the time and you can add that in as an extra. Absolutely, it will only benefit you. So I wouldn't personally recommend prioritizing it if you have a lot of specific goals for career, relationship, you know, family, that sort of thing. Any other topics that don't relate to your self-concept directly, where it's, you know, you want to feel mentally healthier, you want to be more beautiful, that is where your self-concept does tie in. But anything else outside of yourself, you know what I mean? That is where you want to place your prioritize that, place your attention mainly there. So yeah, hopefully this all makes sense. Essentially, do self-concept if you have the extra time. Do it every day because it will only benefit you, but it is not the magical answer to getting your desire. So hopefully everything I said makes sense. If it didn't, please do leave a comment below. I'd love to discuss this further with you guys. If you have any questions or maybe something I said didn't make sense, hopefully it did, then yeah, do leave a comment below and I'll see you next time.